Hello, dear students. Welcome to today's class. And today we are going to begin this third chapter, Ranga's marriage. And we are going to now understand the detailed text. It is written by Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. As we have already discussed in the video, many key points are already discussed. Before we read, there is a brief introduction to the chapter. Ranga, the accountant's son, is one of the rare breed among the village people who has been to the city to pursue his studies. So Ranga actually is the son of an accountant, but he is very rare among those people who have gone there in city to pursue their studies. When he returns to his village from the city of Bangalore, the crowds mill collect around his house to see whether he has changed or not. His ideas about marriage are now quite different, or are they? With a question mark, or are they similar? That is, we'll see in the chapter. When you see this title, some of you may ask, Ranga's marriage? Why not Ranganatha Viva or Ranganatha Vijaya? Well, yes, I know I could have used some other mouth filling one like Jagannatha Vijaya or Girija Kalyana. These are very popular. But then, this is not about Jagannatha's victory or Girja's wedding. It's about our own Ranga's marriage and hence no fancy title. So here he's describing, the narrator is describing about the title, why it is so simple, because it is about a simple person and simple marriage. Hosahali is our village. You must have heard of it. Have you? No. What a pity, further narrator says, but it's not your fault. If you have not heard about this place, it's not your fault. He says there is no mention of it in any geography book. Those sahibs in England writing in English probably do not know that such a place exists and so make no mention of it. So he now blames those people who sit in England but they make the maps of the whole world and they do not know about this such a small place, so they have not mentioned it. He says our own people too forget about it. You know how it is. They are like a flock of sheep. Flock of sheep is usually used for the people who copy others, who follow others without their own mind, without thinking by their mind. They just follow others heedlessly. He says one sheep walks into a pit, the rest blindly follow it. So this is how the people around us are. So if one has not mentioned this village, others are also not going to mention it. When both the Sahibs in England and our own geographers have not referred to it, you cannot expect the poor cartographer to remember to put it on the map. So definitely the mistake was done by the first person, the Sahibs in England. It was followed by our geographers, and then definitely it was followed by the poor cartographer too. So it is not mentioned on the map. Can you imagine? Can you expect the cartographer to put it on the map? No, because a flock of sheep again. And so there is not even the shadow of our village on any map. Sorry, I started somewhere and then went off in another direction. The narrator says that I started with Ranga's marriage, but I came up with the introduction to my village. If the state of Mysore is to Bharatvarsha, to India, what the sweet kari gadabu, what is this kari gadabu? It is a sweet dish, a South Indian fried sweet filled with coconut and sugar. So this is the name of a sweet dish. So like Mysore is to India, to Bharatvarsha, and Kari Gadabu is to a festive meal. Means whenever there is a festival, this sweet dish is there, essential in South India. Then Hosahali is to Mysore state. What the feeling is to the Kari Gadabu. Means Hosahali village is also important. Like Mysore is important for India, similarly Hosahali is important. And then he compares like sweet filling is very important in Kari Gadabu. Similarly, this village is also important to Mysore state. What I have said is absolutely true. Believe me, I will not object to your questioning it, but I will stick to my opinion that my village is very sweet and it is very important. I'm not the only one who speaks glowingly, beautifully of Hosahali. We have a doctor in our place. His name is Gunda Bhatt. He agrees with me. He has been to quite a few places. He has been to quite abroad countries. Then the narrator tells us, no, not England. He has not gone to England. If anyone asks him whether he has been there, if he had gone to England, he says no, Annaya. Now, what is Annaya? Anaya in Kannada language is a respectful term for an elder. Okay. So he says, no, Anaya, I have left that to you. Means that he has been to many places, but he has not been to England. So if somebody asks him, why have you not gone to England? He would say, I have left that for you. You can go and explore there. Running around like a flea pestered dog is not for me. That doctor says that running around, running anywhere blindly like a flea pestered dog, when a dog is pestered with fleas, he has some kind of insects on his body. On its body, the dog runs here and there to get rid of it, but it's not able to. Similarly, the doctor says, I'm not like that dog who can go anywhere. So I have been to many places, but I am not, you can say, interested in going to each and every place. I have seen a few places in my time, though. As a matter of fact, he has seen many places. Then further, he has now told us about the doctor in his village, and now he's further telling us about his village qualities. He says, we have some mango trees in our village. Come visit us. He is inviting the readers, you people. And I'll give you a raw mango from one of them. Then he further suggests, do not eat it, just take a bite. The sourness is sure to go straight to your Brahmardana. Now, what is Brahmardana? In Kannada, the soft part in a child's head where skull bones join later. Here used as an idiomatic expression to convey the extreme potency of sourness. Means it is so sour that it will reach to our brain. The mango is so sour. That's why he says, don't eat it, just take a bite. He says, I once took one such fruit home and a chutney was made out of it, mango chutney. All of us ate it. The cough we suffered from after that, means they all had to suffer from a severe cough because it is very sour and sour things cause cough. It was when I went for the cough medicine that the doctor told me about the special quality of the fruit. Just as the mango is special, he further tells about Hosahali. Short question you can get about telling the details of this by the narrator. Just as the mango is special, so is everything else around our village. We have a creeper growing in the ever so fine water of the village pond. The water there is always fine, and a creeper is growing there. Its flowers are a feast to behold, means they are very interesting to behold, to hold the flowers. He says, get 2 leaves from the creeper when you go to the pond for your bath, and you will not have to worry about not having leaves on which to serve the afternoon meal. Only 2 leaves will be enough for you to serve the meal. In South India, generally people eat on these leaves. You will say, I'm rambling. Rambling means when you talk about something which doesn't connect to your topic. He began with Ranga's marriage, but he has reached to somewhere else. So you'll say, I'm rambling. It's always like that when the subject of our village comes up. He says, whenever I have to tell something about my village, I just flow with the words and I forget about everything else. But enough. If any one of you would like to visit us, drop me a line. I'll let you know where Hosahali is and what things are like here. The best way of getting to know a place is to visit it, don't you agree? So, here in the end of this paragraph, he is actually inviting the readers to go and visit the place. Now starts the real story, you can say. What I'm going to tell you is something that happened 10 years ago. So, whatever he's telling us is 10 years ago of. We didn't have many people who knew English at that time. Our village accountant was the first one who had enough courage to send his son to Bangalore to study. It is different now after 10 years. Now everybody is going for further studies to cities and abroad. But at that time, it was a very new thing. There are many people who know English now. At that time, there were none. During the holidays, you come across them on every street when talking in English. When the students who are studying abroad and they are coming and talking in English during the holidays only. Now, those days we didn't speak in English, nor did we bring in English words while talking in Kannada. Now it is a very common thing, whether we are speaking in Kannada or Punjabi or any language, we can't speak it without using any English word. Deliberately, intentionally, or unintentionally, we do use these kind of words in our daily routine. What has happened is disgraceful, believe me. He says that we have started combining English with our own language, and our own language is losing somewhere its identity. So, whatever happened is disgraceful. The other day, I was in Rama Rao's house when they bought a bundle of firewood. He's telling about his some incident. He went to some Rama Rao's house. Rama Rao is a character in that village. He went to Rama Rao's house, and there they bought a bundle of firewood. Rama Rao's son came out to pay for it. He asked the woman, the lady who sold the firewood to them, he asked the lady, "How much should I give you?" He asked about the cost of the firewood. 4 pice, she said. The boy told her he didn't have any change and asked her to come the next morning. So the boy said, "Sorry, I don't have change. Please come the next morning." The poor woman who was just selling the firewood, she didn't know the English words. So the poor woman did not understand the English word change and went away muttering to herself. She was speaking something to herself because she was not able to understand the word change, and she was not that daring enough to ask this word from the boy of Rama Rao. So she just went back. I too did not know. Later, when I went to Ranga's house and asked him, I understood what it meant. He also didn't know, and he went to Ranga's house. When he met Ranga there, he asked him what does change mean. This priceless commodity, the English language, was not so widespread in our village a decade ago, 10 years ago. That was why Ranga's homecoming was a great event. People rushed to his doorstep announcing, "The accountant's son has come. The boy who had gone to Bangalore for his studies is here, it seems. And come, Ranga is here, let's go and have a look." So, when 10 years before Ranga came back from Bangalore, everybody was like there, wanted to see him, touch him, and wanted to notice what changes are there in him. Attracted by the crowd, I too went and stood in the courtyard and asked, "Why have all these people come?" Our narrator also went with the crowd to Ranga's house and he asked, "Why have you all people come? There is no performing monkey here. For what? For what you have come here? What do you want to see here?" A boy, a fellow without any brains, said loud enough for everyone to hear, "What are you doing here then?" When narrator asked, "Why have you come here? There is no monkey dance." Then a boy said, "Okay, if there is no monkey dance, why have you come here?" A youngster, immature and without any manners. That's what narrator thought about the boy, because it was his insult, because he asked him, "Why have you come here then?" Thinking that all these things were now of the past, I kept quiet. Seeing so many people there, Ranga came out with a smile on his face. Now he's telling the story before 10 years when Ranga came from Bangalore. He just went there for 6 months. Ranga came out with a smile on his face. Had we all gone inside, this is the conditional structures we did in WhatsApp group in me. Had we all gone inside, the place would have turned into what people call the black hole of Calcutta. So if the crowd was so huge that if all the people would have gone to Ranga's room, there would not be any chance of light to enter. So it would be like a black hole, or it would be like a black hole of Calcutta. Thank God it did not. People did not enter. Everyone was surprised to see that Ranga was the same as he had been 6 months ago. So he was not changed. When he had first left our village, an old lady who was near him ran her hand over his chest looked into his eyes and said, the Genevra is still there. Now, Genevra, let's see what it is. The sacred thread worn by the Brahmins. You must have seen, some of you, if you are Hindu, some of the castes in Hindu wear Janev every time. Some people wear it whenever there is some kind of havan or you are donating something. Then they wear this Janev, white colored thread. Is still there. The lady, an old lady, came and she ran her hand over Ranga's chest. The Genevra was there, and she said he hasn't lost his caste. Some boys, when go, they remove it. Especially the Brahmins, they wear it for the whole day, for their whole life. So the lady said he has not lost his caste. She went away soon after that, and Ranga laughed. For Ranga, it was quite absurd that people were believing that he would be returning after getting completely changed, but it was not so. Once they realized that Ranga still had the same hands, legs, eyes, and nose, the crowd melted away like a lump of sugar in a child's mouth. Very slowly, the crowd dispersed when they were sure that Ranga was quite same like when he went away before 6 months. He had the same hands, legs, eyes, and nose, and nothing was changed in him. I continued to stand there. Narrator was there standing. After everyone had gone, I asked, how are you, Rangappa? Then narrator asked him, how are you? Is everything well with you? It was only then that Ranga noticed me. Because there was so much crowd, Ranga was not able to notice the narrator. When narrator spoke, then Ranga noticed him. He came near me and did a namaskara respectfully, saying, I'm alright with your blessings. So he wished him, he did a namaskara respectfully and told that he was alright. I must draw your attention to this aspect of Ranga's character. Further, narrator says he wants us to tell something about Ranga's character. He knew when it would be to his advantage to talk to someone and rightly assessed people's worth. So Ranga was quite mature to understand what to speak with anyone, how to speak, and he rightly assessed people's worth, value. As for his namaskara, this is important when you will be writing the character sketch of Ranga. As for his namaskara to me, he did not do it like any present day boy. If I talk about you people and many of the present day boys, with his head up towards the sun, standing stiff, hard, rigid, like pole without joints, jerking, bending his body as if it was either a wand or a walking stick. So, how you do people touch the feet or do namaskara? You just stand straight and you just bend a little and you do your namaskara. Nor did he merely fold his hands. He bent low to touch my feet. Ranga actually bent so low that he could touch the feet of the narrator easily. May you get married soon, I said, blessing him. So the narrator blessed him, and his wishes were, may you get married soon. After exchanging a few pleasantries, I left. So after changing a few pleasantries, light-hearted communications, narrator came back. So this is it for the day. Do read it. Okay, do see the video and read the text. Have a good day.